Jeff, Jim, and Carmela, part number 20. Jim always arrived at the radio station about 30 minutes before his airtime. The DJ he relieved was required to play the top 40 without request, starting at number 40 and working up the charts to the number 1 record. When Jim walked into the control room, the first thing he looked at was the little red light, and it was not blinking. The Mutual Broadcasting System news always preceded each hour of the broadcast day. In those days, the network came in on a telephone line wired directly into the control board. The person Jim was replacing, like Jim, when the program ended, was glad to switch to the network news and get out of the radio station as soon as possible. Jim had told his friends they would not believe how tiresome and intense a 4-hour radio program could be. During those days, Jim smoked cigarettes just like everyone else in radio, and he smoked entirely too many during a 4-hour radio program. As soon as the network news began, the little red control light began to blink, and Jim wondered if Carmela was the blinker. Jim resisted answering the blinking request line, but after about 30 minutes into the program, he picked up the phone receiver, hoping it would be Carmela. The person on the phone was a freight truck dispatcher who said he was a regular listener to the program and gave Jim a list of 3 records he liked. This evening, Jim answered the phone more times than he had before. The callers were just the ordinary kind, mostly from lonely-sounding people who wanted to hear a record that reminded them of a time or a love. Those were always the kind of phone calls announcers would receive, especially the 8 to midnight programs. The program ended, and Jim drove to his apartment, disappointed he did not hear the mysterious voice from the girl identified as Carmela.